What if I told you that a simple Washington quarter in bad condition, yes, even scratched, worn, and dirty, could secretly be worth thousands, or even millions of dollars? Money bag. Most people ignore these coins, thinking they're just spare change, but hidden among them are rare state quarters with minting errors, low mintage, and unique features that collectors are desperate to find. First up, the Washington quarter from 1983 with the P mint mark is a very interesting coin when studied in detail, especially for collectors who enjoy learning about everyday coins that still carry hidden historical and numismatic importance. This coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is one of the oldest mints in the United States and has been producing coins since the late 18th century. The P mint mark on the 1983 quarter is an important feature because Philadelphia coins did not always include a mint mark before 1980, so its presence reflects a change in minting policy and helps collectors identify where the coin was made. The coin belongs to the long-running Washington Quarter series, which began in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, and the design has remained one of the most recognizable in American coinage history. On the front obverse of the coin, you will see the left-facing portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. This portrait is simple but powerful, showing Washington with a calm and dignified expression that represents leadership and strength. Above his head is the word, liberty, which is a key principle of the United States, while the phrase, "In God We Trust," appears to the left of his neck. The year, 1983, is located below the portrait, indicating when the coin was minted. The overall design of the obverse has remained largely unchanged for decades, making it a classic and timeless representation of American identity. On the back reverse of the coin, there is an eagle with its wings spread wide, holding arrows in its talons and olive branches beneath it. This design symbolizes both military readiness and a desire for peace. Surrounding the eagle are the words, United States of America, and quarter dollar, clearly identifying the coin's origin and value. The 1983 P Washington quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, meaning it has a core of pure copper with outer layers made of a mixture of copper and nickel. This type of composition replaced silver in U.S. coins after 1965 due to rising silver prices. The coin weighs about 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, with a reeded edge that helps prevent wear and counterfeiting. When the coin was first minted, it would have had a bright, shiny appearance with sharp details and clean edges. However, when we talk about a coin in bad condition, we are referring to one that has been heavily circulated and has lost much of its original detail and luster over time. A 1983 P quarter in poor condition may show heavy wear on Washington's face, with the hair details nearly flattened and the facial features less distinct. The lettering on the coin may be partially worn or difficult to read, especially in areas that experience the most friction during circulation. On the reverse side, the eagle's feathers may appear smooth or faded, and the finer details of the arrows and olive branches may be difficult to distinguish. The coin's surface might have scratches, dents, discoloration, or even corrosion, depending on how it was used and stored. The edges of the coin may also be worn down, with the reading becoming less sharp or even partially missing. All of these factors contribute to a lower grade, which significantly affects the coin's value in the market. Despite its worn condition, the 1983 P Washington quarter holds a unique place in numismatic history because of the unusual circumstances surrounding its production. In both 1982 and 1983, the U.S. Mint did not release official uncirculated coin sets, which meant that fewer high-quality examples of these coins were preserved by collectors at the time they were issued. As a result, finding a 1983 P quarter in high-grade condition today is relatively difficult, and such coins can be worth significantly more than their face value. However, this rarity in high grades does not usually extend to coins in poor condition, which are still quite common and typically worth only their face value of 25 cents. One of the most exciting aspects of collecting coins like the 1983 quarter is the possibility of discovering mint errors or rare varieties. Even a worn coin can be valuable if it has a unique error, such as a double die where the design appears doubled, an off-center strike where the design is not properly aligned, or a planchette error where the metal blank itself has a flaw. These errors can occur during the minting process and are highly sought after by collectors. Therefore, it is always a good idea to examine your coin carefully using a magnifying glass or microscope to check for any unusual features that might increase its value. In addition to its potential collectible value, the 1983 Washington quarter also serves as a small piece of everyday history. Coins like this have been used in countless transactions over the years, passing through the hands of people from all walks of life. Each mark, scratch, and sign of wear tells a story about where the coin has been and how it has been used. For many collectors, this sense of history and connection to the past is just as valuable as the coin's monetary worth. Even a coin in poor condition can be appreciated for its journey and the role it has played in daily life. For beginners in coin collecting, a worn 1983 quarter can be a great starting point for learning about grading, mint marks, and the factors that influence a coin's value. By studying coins in different conditions, collectors can develop the skills needed to identify higher quality examples and rare varieties. Building a collection of Washington quarters by date and mint mark is a popular goal, and even coins in lower grades can help complete a set and provide valuable learning experiences. In conclusion, the 1983 Washington quarter, even in bad condition, is much more than just a piece of spare change. It represents a specific moment in U.S. minting history, features the enduring image of George Washington, and offers insight into the world of coin collecting. While its monetary value may be low in worn condition, its historical significance, educational value, and potential for hidden errors make it an interesting and worthwhile coin to study and keep. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced collector, this coin can still provide a deep and rewarding understanding of numismatics and the stories behind everyday currency. Next up, the Washington quarter from 1987 with a D mint mark is a classic example of modern American coinage, and even when found in bad or heavily circulated condition, it still carries historical, educational, and collector interest. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which is represented by the D mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin, just to the right of the ponytail of George Washington. The Washington Quarter series itself began in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and by 1987, it had already become one of the most widely recognized and commonly used coins in everyday American life. The design used in 1987 is the original long-running design by John Flanagan, which remained in use until the late 1990s before the introduction of the state quarters program. On the obverse of the 1987 D Washington quarter, the portrait of George Washington faces left, showing a calm and composed expression that symbolizes leadership and dignity. Above his head is the word, liberty, which is a central value of the United States, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," appears to the left of the portrait. The year, 1987, is clearly visible below the bust, marking the coin's date of issue. On the reverse side, the coin features a detailed image of a bald eagle with wings fully extended, clutching arrows in its talons to represent strength and readiness, while olive branches below symbolize peace. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions, "United States of America," and "Quarter Dollar," clearly identifying the coin's origin and denomination. The 1987 D quarter is made of a copper nickel-clad composition, meaning it has a core of pure copper with outer layers composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition has been used for U.S. quarters since 1965, when rising silver prices led to the removal of silver from circulating coins. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, with a reeded edge that helps protect it from wear and tampering. When newly minted, the coin would have had a bright, reflective surface with sharp details and a clean, crisp appearance. However, when we consider a 1987 D Washington quarter in bad condition, the coin tells a very different story. A heavily circulated coin may show significant wear across both sides. On the obverse, Washington's hair details may be flattened, and the fine lines that define his face may be less visible. The lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust, may appear worn or partially faded. On the reverse, the eagle's feathers may be smoothed out due to years of handling, and the details of the arrows and olive branches may be difficult to distinguish. The coin's surface may have scratches, dents, stains, or discoloration, and the once shiny luster will likely be completely gone. The rim of the coin may also be worn down, and the reeded edge may no longer be sharp or fully intact. In terms of value, a 1987 D Washington quarter in poor condition is generally worth only its face value of 25 cents. This is because the coin was produced in large quantities, and many examples are still in circulation today. Unlike certain earlier or rarer coins, the 1987 D quarter does not have a low mintage or a widely recognized key date status. However, this does not mean the coin is without interest. Collectors often examine coins like this for potential mint errors or unusual varieties. Even a worn coin can be valuable if it has a rare feature such as a double die, an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, or other minting anomalies. These types of errors occur during the manufacturing process and can significantly increase a coin's value if discovered. Another important aspect of the 1987 D Washington quarter is its role in everyday economic life during the late 1980s. This was a time when cash transactions were dominant, and coins like the quarter were used frequently in daily activities such as shopping, transportation, and vending machines. A worn coin from this period has likely passed through thousands of hands, making it a small but meaningful piece of social and economic history. Each mark or scratch on the coin reflects its journey through time, adding a layer of character that cannot be found in uncirculated examples. For beginner collectors, a 1987 D quarter in bad condition can still be a valuable learning tool. It allows collectors to practice grading, which involves assessing the level of wear and assigning a grade such as good G, very good VG, fine F, or very fine VF. Understanding how to grade coins is an essential skill in numismatics, as it directly affects a coin's value and desirability. Additionally, collecting coins by date and mint mark is a popular hobby, and even lower-grade coins can help complete a set and provide a sense of accomplishment. In conclusion, while the 1987 D Washington quarter in bad condition may not have significant monetary value, it remains an interesting and educational piece of American coinage. It represents a continuation of a historic series, features the enduring image of George Washington, and offers insight into the world of coin collecting and everyday currency use. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced collector, this coin can still provide valuable lessons and a deeper appreciation for the history and artistry of coins. Next up, the Washington quarter dated 1982 with the D mint mark is one of the most fascinating modern coins in U.S. numismatics, especially when studied in depth, even in bad or heavily circulated condition. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary piece of pocket change, worn down by years of use, but behind its simple appearance lies a deeper story connected to American history, minting practices, and collector demand. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark visible on the obverse front of the coin, near the ribbon behind the head of George Washington. The Washington quarter series itself began in 1932, originally issued to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and it has remained one of the most iconic and longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The obverse of the 1982 D quarter features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. This portrait is known for its simplicity and strength, capturing Washington as a calm and determined leader. Above the portrait, the word, "Liberty," is prominently displayed, symbolizing freedom, while the phrase, "In God We Trust," appears to the left of the portrait. Below Washington's bust is the year, 1982, marking the coin's production date. Over time, in coins that are in poor condition, these details can become significantly worn. Washington's hair may appear flattened, his facial features may lose sharpness, and the inscriptions may become faint or partially unreadable due to years of friction and handling. On the reverse side, the 1982 D Washington quarter displays a powerful image of a bald eagle with its wings spread wide. The eagle is holding arrows in its talons, representing strength and readiness for defense, while olive branches below symbolize peace. Surrounding this central design are the inscriptions, "United States of America," and "Quarter Dollar." In coins that are heavily circulated, the fine details of the eagle, such as the feathers, claws, and arrows, may be worn smooth, and the overall design may appear less defined. The edges of the coin, known as the reeded edge, may also show signs of wear, becoming less sharp or partially flattened. The composition of the 1982 D quarter is copper-nickel clad, which means it consists of a pure copper core sandwiched between layers of a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition has been used for U.S. quarters since 1965, replacing the earlier silver composition due to rising metal costs. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. When freshly minted, the coin would have had a bright, reflective surface with a strong metallic luster. However, in bad condition, this luster is usually completely gone, replaced by a dull, sometimes darkened appearance caused by oxidation, dirt, and continuous handling. What makes the 1982 D Washington quarter particularly interesting is the historical context of its production. In 1982, the United States Mint made a significant decision not to produce official uncirculated mint sets for collectors. This was highly unusual, as mint sets are typically produced every year and purchased by collectors to preserve coins in pristine condition. Because of this, fewer high-quality 1982 coins were saved at the time of issue, making high-grade examples of the 1982 D quarter relatively scarce today. While this does not significantly increase the value of coins in poor condition, it does make the year 1982 stand out as special in the eyes of collectors. In terms of value, a 1982 D Washington quarter in bad condition is generally worth its face value of 25 cents. This is because millions of these coins were produced and circulated widely, and worn examples are still very common. However, there are exceptions that can make even a worn coin valuable. One of the most important factors to consider is the presence of mint errors or rare varieties. Errors such as doubled dies, where letters or numbers appear doubled, off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, or planchette defects, flaws in the metal blank, can significantly increase a coin's value. These errors are relatively rare, but they are highly sought after by collectors, and discovering one can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable collectible. Another important aspect of the 1982 D quarter is its connection to everyday life. This coin may have passed through countless hands over the years, used in shops, markets, vending machines, and more. Each scratch, dent, or worn area tells a story of its journey through time, making it a small piece of living history. For many collectors, this sense of history adds emotional and educational value to the coin, even if its monetary value is low. For those new to coin collecting, a worn 1982 D Washington quarter can serve as an excellent learning tool. It allows beginners to practice grading coins, which involves assessing the level of wear and assigning a grade such as good G, very good VG, fine F, or very fine VF. Learning how to identify these grades helps collectors understand how condition affects value and prepares them to recognize more valuable coins in the future. Additionally, collecting coins by date and mint mark is a popular hobby, and even low-grade coins can help complete a collection and build knowledge over time. In conclusion, the 1982 D Washington quarter, even in bad condition, is much more than just a piece of spare change. It represents a unique moment in U.S. mint history, features the enduring image of George Washington, and offers valuable insights into coin collecting, history, and everyday economic life. While its financial value may be limited in worn condition, its historical significance, potential for rare errors, and educational importance make it a coin worth studying, preserving, and appreciating in the world of numismatics. Next up, the Washington quarter dated 1997 with a D mint mark is a highly recognizable piece of late 20th century American currency, and even when found in bad or heavily circulated condition, it carries a deep story that connects history, economics, and the world of coin collecting. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which is identified by the small D mint mark located on the obverse side of the coin, just to the right of the ribbon behind the portrait of George Washington. The Washington Quarter series itself began in 1932, originally introduced to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and by 1997, it had become one of the most widely used and longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. This specific coin is especially interesting because it was produced just before a major change in U.S. coinage, the introduction of the State Quarters program in 1999, which means it belongs to the final generation of the original eagle reverse design. On the obverse front of the 1997 D quarter, the portrait of George Washington faces left, designed by John Flanagan in a style that emphasizes dignity, calmness, and leadership. Above the portrait is the bold inscription, Liberty, representing one of the most important values in American society. To the left of Washington's neck appears the phrase, "In God We Trust," a national motto that has been included on U.S. coins for generations. Below the portrait is the year, 1997, clearly marking when the coin was minted. When the coin is in bad condition, these features often appear significantly worn. Washington's hair may look flat and smooth, the sharp edges of the lettering may be faded, and the surface may show numerous scratches, dents, and signs of long-term use. On the reverse back of the coin, there is a detailed image of a bald eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows in its talons to symbolize military strength, while olive branches beneath represent peace. Around this central design are the inscriptions, United States of America, and quarter dollar. This classic reverse design was used for over 6 decades, making it one of the most enduring symbols in American coinage. However, in a worn 1997 D quarter, the fine details of the eagle, such as the feathers, claws, and arrows, may be heavily worn or even nearly invisible, depending on how much the coin has circulated. The coin is composed of a copper-nickel clad structure, consisting of a pure copper core with outer layers made of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition has been standard for U.S. quarters since 1965, when silver was removed due to rising costs. The 1997 D quarter weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. Its reeded edge, which consists of small ridges around the circumference, helps protect the coin from excessive wear and also serves as a security feature. In bad condition, these ridges may be worn down, making the edge feel smoother than it originally was. When discussing a 1997 D Washington quarter in poor condition, it is important to understand how grading works in coin collecting. Coins are graded based on their level of wear, with categories such as good G, very good VG, fine F, and very fine VF. A coin in bad condition typically falls into the lower end of this scale, meaning it has lost most of its original detail and luster. The once bright surface becomes dull, and the coin may develop dark toning or discoloration due to oxidation and environmental exposure. In terms of monetary value, a heavily worn 1997 D quarter is generally worth only its face value of 25 cents. This is because the coin was produced in very large quantities, and many examples are still easily found in circulation. It is not considered a rare or key date coin in the Washington Quarter series. However, there is always the possibility that a coin may have a mint error or unusual feature that increases its value. Collectors often look for errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, or die cracks. Even a coin in poor condition can become valuable if it has one of these rare characteristics. Beyond its monetary value, the 1997 D quarter holds historical and cultural significance. It represents a time when physical currency was still the primary method of everyday transactions, before the widespread use of digital payments. This coin may have been used in countless situations: buying groceries, paying for transportation, or being exchanged in markets, making it a small but meaningful piece of daily life in the late 1990s. Each mark, scratch, and worn detail tells a story of its journey through time. For collectors and beginners, a worn 1997 D Washington quarter can serve as an excellent learning tool. It helps illustrate how coins change over time due to circulation and how condition impacts value. It also provides an opportunity to practice identifying mint marks, understanding coin composition, and recognizing potential errors. Many collectors aim to complete a full set of Washington quarters by date and mint mark, and even coins in poor condition can play an important role in achieving that goal. In conclusion, the 1997 D Washington quarter, even in bad condition, is much more than just a piece of spare change. It represents the final years of a historic coin design, features the iconic image of George Washington, and provides valuable insight into the history of U.S. coinage and everyday economic life. While its financial value may be limited when worn, its historical importance, educational value, and potential for hidden errors make it an interesting and worthwhile coin for anyone interested in the world of numismatics. Next up, the Washington quarter dated 1993 with a D mint mark is a classic example of modern U.S. circulation coinage, and even in bad or heavily worn condition, it still carries historical, educational, and collector interest that many people overlook. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark located on the obverse side near the portrait of George Washington. The Washington quarter design began in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birth anniversary, and by 1993 it had already been in continuous use for more than 6 decades, making it one of the most iconic and longest-running coin designs in United States history. On the obverse front of the coin, the left-facing portrait of George Washington appears in a strong and simple design created by John Flanagan. This design emphasizes dignity and leadership, showing Washington as a calm and determined figure. Above his head is the word, liberty, representing freedom, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," appears to the left of his neck. Below the portrait is the date, 1993, marking the year of minting. In a bad condition coin, these features often become heavily worn over time. Washington's hair may appear smooth and flat, facial details may lose sharpness, and the lettering may become faint due to constant circulation and friction between other coins. On the reverse back of the coin, there is a detailed image of a bald eagle with wings spread wide, holding arrows in its talons to represent strength and defense, while olive branches beneath symbolize peace. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions, United States of America, and quarter dollar. This reverse design was used for Washington quarters from 1932 until 1998, making the 1993 D quarter part of the final years of this historic design before the introduction of the state quarters program. In worn condition, the eagle's feathers, claws, and finer details may become smooth or barely visible. The 1993 D Washington quarter is made of a copper nickel-clad composition, meaning it has a pure copper core with outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition has been used since 1965, when silver was removed from circulating quarters. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. It also features a reeded edge with small ridges that help reduce wear and discourage counterfeiting. In bad condition, these ridges may become flattened or less distinct due to long-term circulation. A 1993 D quarter in heavily circulated condition usually falls into lower grading levels such as good G or very good VG. These grades mean the coin has lost most of its original sharp details and surface shine. The coin's surface may appear dull, scratched, or stained, and environmental exposure over many years may cause discoloration or dark toning. However, even in this condition, the coin still retains its identity, date, and mint mark, which are important for collectors who build date and mint sets. In terms of value, a worn 1993 D Washington quarter is generally worth only its face value of 25 cents. This is because it was produced in very large quantities and is still commonly found in circulation today. It is not considered a rare or key date coin. However, collectors often look closely at these coins for mint errors, which can significantly increase value. Examples include doubled dies where letters or numbers appear doubled, off-center strikes, clipped planchettes, or die cracks. Even a heavily worn coin can become valuable if it contains one of these rare minting mistakes. Beyond its monetary value, the 1993 D quarter represents everyday American life in the early 1990s. This coin likely passed through many hands, being used in shops, vending machines, transportation, and daily transactions. Each scratch, dent, and worn area tells a story of real-world use. For collectors, this history gives the coin a deeper meaning beyond its face value, turning it into a small artifact of economic and social history. For beginners in coin collecting, a worn 1993 D Washington quarter is a useful learning tool. It helps in understanding coin grading, identifying mint marks, and recognizing the effects of circulation wear. Collectors can compare worn coins with higher-grade examples to learn how detail and value change over time. Many collectors also build complete Washington quarter sets, and even low-grade coins like this play an important role in completing a full collection. In conclusion, the 1993 D Washington quarter, even in bad condition, is far more than just a common 25-cent coin. It represents a long-running American coin design, features the iconic image of George Washington, and offers insight into history, minting processes, and coin collecting. While its monetary value may be low when worn, its educational importance, historical connection, and potential for rare mint errors make it a coin worth studying and appreciating in detail. PLCE like and subscribe to my channel.